What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my analysis and builds guide for Duo Askr and how you can use them in different game modes. So Duo Askr is the bulkiest mage present in the game with base 42 defense, which is the highest of any mage, and he also has a super boon in it. He comes with his preferred weapon Duality Vessel, which is going to be a colorless tome. So this time he's a colorless infantry mage instead of being a beast unit, and with his preferred weapon he's able to get minus on special cooldown, and if he's within 3 spaces of an ally, then he can get a lot of the effects. So the proximity is pretty lenient and it is the same as a finish kill. So he can get +5 to all of his stats and also guaranteed follow-up attack. He also inflicts guard on the foe per attack, and then he can get a signature true damage reduction based on 20% of his defense. Now just to recap, true damage reduction is different from the regular damage reduction that you get from Close Call, Vital Astra and stuff like that. The true damage reduction works on your defense and it is static in nature, so it is going to be depending on the defense that you have in the combat. It does not really change or is relative to the stat of the opponent. So that is the main difference between the different damage reductions that we have got. And then he also has true damage reduction on the AoE specials. So if he has got more defense than the foe, then he can reduce the damage from AoE specials by 1.5 times of the difference between the defense stats. And this is actually pretty insane when it comes to taking on AoE mages. So he's going to be a really great mage counter because a lot of the AoE mages run double life and death, which means that they are going to be having miserably low defense. And if they're not running double life and death, then they probably have still water and they are someone like Legendary Lilina or Bride Lilina. So even in that case, they have low defense. So he's going to be able to get a lot of flat damage reduction on the AoE hits. So his matchup against a lot of the meta mage threats which run AoE specials like Spring Sonia and Duo Thor is going to be better than a lot of the units. So overall this weapon does provide him with a pretty good defensive effect in guard. And it also provides him with the guaranteed follow-up attack, which is really needed with his speed. And the true damage reduction on the regular attacks and also AoE damage is extremely good because the regular Askr is kind of weak to the AoE specials, but not this Askr. And if you have used Brave Dimitri or the regular Askr, then you know how strong the true damage reduction is. So with his base 42 defense and base 37 resistance, he's going to be the bulkiest mage that is present in the game. And he can also function really well as a nuke because of having 42 base attack. He does come with a new defense res finish 4, which does give you +7 defense and resistance in combat, and if the special is ready or can trigger in the combat, then he can deal +5 true damage and also heals up 7 HP when dealing damage to the foe. So this is going to be really helpful with his open domain and his duo skill, and he already comes with the tempo skill, so it's pretty easy for him to spam specials and recover HP with the skill while also doing true damage. And he does have open domain, which he also has on his regular version. So at start of turn, he basically needs to be within 2 spaces. Of an ally that is not from hero. So if you're using like Peony, Air, Regan, Sather, all of them are from Fae. So you need to use the units which are not heroes units. So using units with other titles is not going to be that hard. And if that condition is met, then he can give joint, resonant blades and shields to all of the allies within 2 spaces. And just in case you're curious, the blades effect and the resonant shields effects are status effects, so they actually do not stack up if you use like double Askr or something like that. And it also provides the time pulse effect to himself and the allies within 2 spaces. So open domain is just a top tier support skill because it's essentially giving you +4 to all of your stats. And it also gives you follow-up negation against the first combat in each phase. So this is going to be pretty good, and you can also pre-charge his specials easily with his duo skill and open domain. And you can also run like Glimmer or Moonbow and easily pre-charge it with open domain, and even provide this to the other units to pre-charge their specials. And this is one of the reasons why Duo Askr is really good, because he's not only a very solid unit himself defensively and also can nuke hard, but he can also support his allies with the open domain. And of course, his support does not stop there. He has got a duo skill which does give +6 visible buffs to all of these stats to himself and allies within 2 spaces, and also special cooldown count -1. So this special cooldown count is not like the time pulse belt where you need to have the special at the max cooldown. This is just going to be a flat -1 special cooldown, which is absolutely amazing. So this is going to be allowing him to pre-charge his bonfire pretty easily and also buffing up all of the allies in the process and himself. And this duo skill can be used at sort of every third turn if it has been used before. So this means that for something like Summoner Duels, you can actually use it again, which is going to be a pretty useful thing. And being a duo unit, he does have the dual effect, which makes him score like 200 BST in Colosseum game modes and Mewmore Strike. Overall, I would say that Duo Askr is a top tier mage because of being the bulkiest mage in the game with that true damage reduction, and he's also a support nuke, which is going to be fitting in any kind of team and in any kind of game mode. So he's going to be a really good unit for Aether Raids defense, especially in the dark season where there is no Element to shut down his open domain. So he can be used in a Catria Ball team, and he can give the resonance shields effect to all of his allies, which is going to be extremely good for any kind of Aether Raids defense team. I've used regular Askr in my Chaos teams, and I cannot tell you how many times the Resonance Shields and Blades effect has helped me win the games, so this is going to be really useful. And he cannot really Gale Force himself when you use him in Aether Raids offense, but he's still going to be a pretty useful unit for Gale Force teams because he is really bulky, so he can be, you know, the unit to take on the final unit and just tank there for the pots. And Askr can also function as a really strong nuke who can just come in and hit them with a really strong special. You can also use him in Summoner Duels, which is going to be a really cutthroat competitive game mode, and even there, he's going to be a fantastic support unit, and especially his damage reduction against the top tier meta threats like Spring Sonia and Duo Thor is going to be useful. And he is a bulky nuke, so he's not going to be dying that easily to a lot of the far safe tank while he engages. But unfortunately, because he's so slow, he's not really going to be able to double against the Hardy Fighter armors, but still he can pre-charge the specials of his allies with his open domain and also his duo skill. And you can also use his duo button twice in one Summoner Duels match. So if it's used before the third turn, then it could be used again on the third turn. So that is going to be pretty useful as an action, and to also give the Omni buffs to all of your units and also the -1 special cooldown. And because he's a duo unit, he inherently has value as a scoring unit in Arena. Not only does he score really well, but he can easily handle so many of the meta threats and legendary units because of having such amazing bulk with his true damage reduction. And of course, even a one-off copy in Arena Assault is going to be helping you get rid of a lot of threats. And you can easily use the duo button in Arena Assault to pre-charge specials and have a lot of fun. In Allegiance battles, he can definitely help you with resonant shields and also score high. And he's going to be setting the kills pretty easily for your units because he can pre-charge the specials. He's also going to be helping you set up the kills using his support with open domain. And finally, he's going to be amazing in Pawns of Loki because he is going to be a really good frontliner for mage combos. There are not a lot of mages which have such good mixed bulk like Askr and also have this kind of damage reduction. And he can buff up multiple allies with resonant shields and pre-charge their specials, so you can get pretty easy kills. So he's going to be an amazing Pawns of Loki unit as well. If you want to use Askr on a budget, then you can simply give him reposition and attack defense form and he should be done. So Bonfire can easily be pre-charged using his duo skill, and he does have tempo skill, which means that with the open domain you actually have Bonfire at 1 cooldown, so you can easily trigger that on your follow-up attack or if you retaliate back in the enemy phase. But if you want to give him some expensive skills, then Special Spiral 4 is easily one of the best options that you can give to him. So having this kind of damage reduction piercing through Special Spiral 4 is going to be pretty amazing, and you also get the true damage out of it, so it can stack up with the true damage of finish kill so that he can nuke even harder. And being able to pierce through the damage reduction means that he is going to be functioning even better as a nuke, so you can easily use Bonfire as a special so that it can always be charged up with Special Spiral 4, and you can also use him as an AoE nuke himself because with open domain, the AoE special becomes a 2 cooldown special, and then with his duo skill it becomes a 1 cooldown special. So you just need 1 more cooldown and then his AoE special will be charged up. Now unfortunately you don't really pierce through the damage reduction with the AoE specials, but still Special Spirals true damage is helpful with the AoE specials. So you can just do a bit more damage and also function a bit better as a nuke by looping your special. And Solid Ground is going to be the best skill if you're going to be using him as a AoE nuke, but Fury is also an option that we already have as a Sacred Seal. Honestly, I don't really recommend close reversal on many mages because they don't really have the bulk needed to survive a lot of the melee nukes, but that is not the case for Askr because he does have that true damage reduction and he can easily use Special Spiral and retaliate back with Ethers with the support of Na or someone like Duo Thor or regular Thor and their War Breaker. So this is something that you can do for Omni tanking, and this kind of build could also be used in Aether Raids offense. Na is going to be better in the light season because Embla's feud is not going to be erasing that kind of supportive effect. So that is going to be really helpful for Omni tanking with close reversal. So that is going to be useful for Omni tanking and Special Spiral for helping you do more damage, piercing through damage reduction, and also helping you heal HP with Aether. He can also be used in a Gale Force team, especially in something like Astro Season where regular Askr is not available, and even though he cannot really Gale Force himself, he can still provide the support with Open Domain and actually function as a pretty nice magical nuke that can just teleport with Wings of Mercy and then kill something with Bonfire. Now of course he will be needing one infantry pulse support or just a pulse support to pre-charge Bonfire, but you can always run Glimmer or Moonbow if you want to, if you cannot really provide him that kind of support. So he can just jump in with Wings of Mercy, and before that, he's going to be providing the extra offenses with Resonant Blades, which is really helpful, and also the Time Pulse effect. In Aether Raids defense, I think that he is a lot more valuable than he is in Aether Raids offense, because in Aether Raids defense, he's going to be really good in a Catria Ball, because he can get the Brave hits, and he can actually trigger Bonfire on his Brave hit. So that is going to be doing a lot of damage with his defense. And I do like Attack Defense Unity a bit more for Aether Raids defense because people many times do use Panic, Sudden Panic, or Temari Dagger on air, stuff like that. So dealing with the debuffs is a bit annoying, and that's why I do like Unity skills on Aether Raids defense to combat that. He could also be used as a frontliner in Summoner Duels with Close Reversal or with Defense Rest Finish that he already comes with Lull Attack Resistance. So I would say that Lull Attack Resistance is by far the best skill that you can run for frontlining, because you're going to be just neutralizing any kind of attack buffs of many of the threats, and Ruptured Sky is going to be pretty helpful here so that you can do more damage to the dragon and beast far safe tanks and a lot of the common beast and dragon units. So that is the premium special, which is going to be working really well. And if you don't really want to use him as a frontliner, then you can just use him with Bonfire, with Tempo Skill, and with a Brattle Catria or Winter Cordelia, and just destroy the far safe tanks with Bonfire doing massive amounts of damage on the second Brave hit. Duo Askr is a very potent user of AoE specials, and whenever Might of Myriads is a thing, he is going to be a menace because he's going to be able to set up Vantage with a Double Fury build and do a lot of AoE damage with Blazing Wind. And it's pretty easy to set up his AoE special with his Duo Button, with his Open Domain, and just having anyone like Duo Crom, for example, just pre-charging his special. And even without Might of Myriads, he's going to be a pretty annoying unit if the enemy does not have enough melee units to take care of him. And if they just have ranged threats, then they're going to be getting kind of checkmated with the Vantage, and especially if they've got hit by the AoE special. So this is definitely something that you could run on him. And even without that, he could still be used as an AoE nuke in Summoner Duels, but this is definitely not the build. I would definitely recommend Solid Ground, like I did in the previous build for the AoE builds, for just maximizing the damage output. But for a Vantage build, the Fury Chip damage is going to be pretty amazing. And finally, he could be used in Arena as a 205 BST scoring unit if you run 300 SP passives like Mystic Boost and Close Reversal. So Mystic Boost 4 is going to be giving you the healing, which you kind of lose by not having the finish skill, and Mystic Boost can also give you the attack debuff, which is of course really helpful. You can also run Special Spiral if you want to get rid of the damage reduction, but Mystic Boost is going to be providing you the self-sustain and the healing, which is going to be pretty nice. And because he's going to be so bulky at like max investment with all of the buffs and everything, he can easily run bonus doubler and function with Close Reversal and tank majority of the threats and just kill them with Ruptured Sky, which is pretty much always going to be active, and it is going to be getting pre-charged with Open Domain. Duo Askr is definitely a pretty solid unit to pick up, but keep in mind that we are going to be getting a Hero Rises event, and many times the newer units are going to be present there. Like last year, Duo Dagger was present on the Hero Rises banner, so if you don't really have orbs right now, you can probably save for the Hero Rises banner and hope that he can make it past the round 1 and actually appear on a banner. So yeah, he is going to be a pretty solid unit. Make sure to share this video with your friends if they're thinking of pulling him up. and they can definitely see a lot of the options that he can run. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps you tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member down below as well. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as open domain if you use all heroes team. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.